Joining me now is a key member of the Trump administration. He serves as senior director for counterterrorism and President Trump's deputy assistant, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Also, I can say he's a friend. Wonderful to see you, Dr. Gorka. Your thoughts about calling out the left for their lies, and nothing is harmless. You can't just go along with the deceit.
Well, wonderful to see you again. Look, I get asked often, what should my part be in America First? And you don't have to be an expert in counterterrorism. You don't have to be an expert in, rocket launching or AI. Just one very simple piece of advice: tell the truth. That is in the Bible as well. I'm so glad you quoted it. And Newsmax, I think, is the only network out there that has their hosts actually quote from the good book: "The truth shall set you free." Never censor yourself when you know it's wrong. When people are trying to convince you that a man can be a woman, and open borders are good for the country, and Iran isn't a threat to America, and neither is China, just speak the truth. You don't have to be pugilistic like I am. You don't have to get up on a soapbox, but don't censor yourself and don't censor the truth. If you stick to the truth, it will set you free, and your soul will also be unburdened. So if you want to make America great again, join President Trump in just telling the truth.
That's it. And I want to talk also, obviously, about President Trump launching new naval airstrikes against the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen for all of their past attacks against commercial ships in the Red Sea. Over 100 attacks since the October 7th massacre in Israel. Of course, Dr. Gorka, the big concern now is Iran's nuclear capabilities. What can you tell the American people to allay their fears?
Well, look, I was in the West Wing in the Situation Room with my counterterrorism team, with my colleagues from the NSC, with the Deputy National Security Advisor, watching that footage and other things that are not available to the public live as it was happening. The National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, was with President Trump, who also was watching and listening to our brave warfighters. There you go, dealing death to these pirates, these thugs who have held international trade and maritime freedom on the seas hostage for years now. This is the same Houthis. Can we just stop for a second for a sanity check, Lydia? Biden, I don't know if it was, the auto pen again, but Biden's administration removed these terrorists, these bloodthirsty jihadists, from the foreign terrorist designation. Why would you do that? It's a very interesting question. We're going to get to the bottom of that. But President Trump isn't having it. The fact that in the last year and a half, our military vessels has been fired at more than 100 times. A U.S. vessel hasn't been permitted to traverse that waterway for more than a year. I'm sorry. President Trump not only loves America in terms of national security and peace through strength, he is committed to the American economy and to global free trade. And that's why our daring warfighters did what they did yesterday, to make sure that that seminal shipping lane is open to the world's traffic, not just American shipping.
Dr. Gorka, this report just coming in, Iranian General Hossein Salami is now denying that the Houthis are backed by Iran, right? I know, it's funny. Well, what do you think about this? And then he adds that his country would offer a, quote, decisive and devastating response to any threat against it. What do you think about his denial now? Well, your thoughts?
Well, I think he should probably take up stand-up comedy as his next profession after his regime collapses, because the people of Persia want their country back. I mean, look, this is a bunch of, former charcoal smugglers. That's who the Houthis are. And we're supposed to believe what? That somehow they got their hands on air defense missile systems with which they're shooting down unmanned U.S. vehicles that are taking out terrorists. Yeah, we know where the Houthis are getting their advanced weaponry from. It is from the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, and that is the Islamo-fascist regime in Tehran. And for all of you who missed it, go back. It's on my Twitter feed. It's on my Truth Social. Read the full statement from President Trump as we took responsibility for this military operation, and read the last line and his very clear and stern message for Iran: you better stop supporting these bloodthirsty Islamic terrorists, or there will be hell to pay. And President Trump as ISIS and their former caliph and al-Baghdadi know, or well, you know, their fish food right now, President Trump is not a man to be trifled with, Lydia.
No, he is not. He says what he means and means what he says. Now, Dr. Gorka, the Democrats, that party is dead. I think it's gone. It's in complete disarray. Look at this poll conducted by CNN asking who best reflects the core values of the Democrat Party. At the top, Dr. Gorka, AOC at 10%, Barack Obama there, 4%, maybe the Iran deal biting him in the butt. What did he give, $150 billion back in 2015? What do you think about this poll here?
This is very strange. Look, before I came back into government service, I had this kind of idea, this inspiration on my radio show, Lydia, and it may sound a little bit strange coming from me. All I want in America is for the two political parties that we have to both love America. I don't think that's a big ask. I don't think that's a serious request to make, that they both love this nation. We can argue about tax rates or the fine nuances of immigration policy, but both nations, the party of JFK is gone. The party of Scoop Jackson is gone. Why is Tulsi Gabbard a member of the cabinet, or DNI? Why is JFK's nephew a member of the cabinet? Because the sane, patriotic Democrats have been squeezed out by those who are DEI lunatics, who hate what America stands for, the principles of the founding. So maybe a rational individual will come up to lead that party. But right now, I just don't see it.
I don't either. Dr. Gorka, again, President Trump's Senior Director for Counterterrorism. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
God bless. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.